Hello, my Copic Club members. I am so glad to have you here today. I'm Jan, and this is April's Copic Club. So we are going to be coloring this adorable little gnome. This is called Crafty Gnome, and she is from Dare to Be Artsy. She comes with several mushrooms, a flower, several sayings, and also there is a die set that you can purchase. So in this kit you're going to receive your hand stamped image of Crafty Gnome, a piece of the paper that I used on our sample card. This is from Vicky Boutine from her new Vivid Color collection. It is beautiful cardstock. Love this paper. She has several new ones, so you'll be seeing a lot of those, but you'll get that piece if you want to go ahead and complete your card for this month. You'll get, of course, our newsletter that includes our marker list, the link that you can purchase the stamp set and the die if you'd like. I appreciate always you using my links. That helps to support what I'm doing here. An idea sheet. You also get another the list of colors that I use to make another card using Crafty Gnome, and of course our instruction sheet. So let's get started. I know my voice is a little crackly today. I've been struggling with a cold last few days and decided that I can no longer put off this video. I need to get it ready for you guys because before I know it, April 1st is going to be here. So let's get started. Of course, we've got our scrap piece underneath to absorb any ink that might go through our cardstock. Oh, cardstock. I want you to notice and feel, just feel this sample that I've done, that I've stamped for you guys this month. This is on new cardstock that I've not shown you guys before. So in the past, I've always used the Basil Smooth white, and it came to my attention that the 8.5 by 11 is no longer available after all these years. I'm so bummed. 12 by 12, it is still available. So if you want to purchase 12 by 12, I'm actually going to have this whole discussion in a post in our discussion group. It's going to have links to the 12 by 12 Basil, but this paper was actually designed by the company from Copic. It's Express It blending card, specifically made for alcohol markers. The stuff is amazing. However, it's a little bit more expensive. So you get 25 sheets for $24.99. Of course, I always like to wait, you know, a cherry on top is always doing great specials. Quite often you can get 20% off, so wait, you know, save up and use your 20% off through a cherry on top, and that always makes it a little bit better deal. But you're gonna really see the difference. So remember, you don't need to use this cardstock for your bases. I always have it separated. So this is just my cardstock, like from Walmart, and then the part that's just stamped and colored with Copic is what I stamp on my Express It blending card. So it's going to make that pack go a lot farther. But I can't wait to hear you guys, your reactions. I would love for you to post after you've colored this month's card, what you thought of this blending card. I absolutely love it, but of course the frugal Wonder Woman in me loves the price of the Basil a lot more. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this is a skin tone blending combination that I don't believe I've used before. It's not as natural looking, but of course there's not much natural about a gnome. So we're going to go ahead and we want more definition. So we're going to use EO2 as our base. And just color. Don't forget her little ears over here. And I just colored the whole face, giving it a nice base. Don't forget her neck and her hands, arms, sticking out there, and her knees here above her socks. Next, we're going to go with R01, and I'm not going to do any blending this time. We're just going to go ahead and accentuate those cute little cheeks of hers and her nose. And if you don't think it's dark enough on her cheeks, you can go ahead and go over that a couple of times. Now, I'm going to take R02 and just do around the bottom of her nose. Now this time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come back with the R01 and I'm going to shade her nose or blend her nose and maybe come back into her cheeks one more time. But the rest of her I just left. And as that dries, you're going to really be able to see a distinctive difference from her cheeks. So now we're going to go ahead and go on to her hair. This is probably my favorite part of this stamp. Her hair is just gorgeous. I'm jealous. And so I want to just create all these beautiful highlights and lowlights in her hair. And I love this color combination of the E55, 57, and 59. So we're going to go ahead and color all of the hair with the E55. Just checking my camera. I've had some trouble with my camera today. And I was afraid that this just was not going to be a good video day again. But at last, I got it. So I hope you guys are getting all excited about Easter. If you're able to watch this before Easter, some of you maybe won't receive your kits yet before Easter. So I hope your Easter was blessed and you got to spend it with some family. You know, last year we didn't get to do anything, but this year we're having Mom up and brother-in-law and sister-in-law and our kids. So I'm super excited. I just need to get over this cold. Okay, so we're just laying down this base of E55 along all of her hair, her golden locks. And then you can see, if you would rather she be more of a blonde than brunette, I added another color combination onto the idea sheet. So next we're going to take E57, and you'll even notice on your idea sheet or your instruction sheet that I did it a little bit different. Like this one, for instance, I did different. And so there is no right or wrong. We're just picking and choosing some of these chunks of hair and adding some lowlights. So I did come in and add the E55 here. And so we're just gonna not color the whole thing with the E55. This piece I did, because this one looks like it's way back in. And back here, because this is going to be dark, because it's in the back of her neck. So like I said, again, there is no right or wrong. You're just adding some cute highlights to this cute little gnome. And if you love gnomes, you might want to check out, they have another gnome stamp and die by Dare to Be Artsy. She's called Flower Gnome, and she has cute birthday sayings, and so there's other sayings with her. but I just fell in love with this Crafty Gnome and thought you guys would too. So then we're going to go with E59. Whoops, wrong end. Remember the gray mark there is always your brush tip. Okay, so E59. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just a little bit where that E59 is, I'm going to add some, or I'm sorry, the E57. I'm going to add a little bit of the E59. And this is just so fun because once you come in with the lightest color again and blend this, this is a beautiful color combination. I do use this combination a lot. So if you don't already have these three markers, I can bet you they're going to be a favorite after you complete this one, or if you see this and you're going to want to add these three colors to your collection. Okay, so now we've finished your hair and we're just going to go back with the E55 and just go over all of it. And these blend, like I said, beautifully. So for those of you that have not taken my 101, you may have noticed that other demonstrators, I've really noticed a lot lately, start with the dark colors and then go to light. And that is just on preference. It's not how I was taught by Copic when I went through the certification. Sometimes, like if I'm doing a red, especially the R27, 29, those colors, I have found in those I do like to do the dark first, because then you're going over that dark several times, not just once, and those seem to blend better. So, okay. So there she is, our beautiful Crafty Gnome with beautiful locks, brunette locks and highlights. Okay, let's go on to step 3. We have BG01, BG05, and BG07. So we're going to go ahead and do her hat. So it is totally on preference. Of course, you would, if that's what you wanted to do, then you would just start with the dark and go backwards. So for some of you that do that, you might watch the video or and not color with me. So I'm curious if anybody out there that belongs to our Copic Club, if that's how you learned and you like doing it that way better. So I'd love to have you join in on our discussion group and let us know. Okay, so I just have the base of the hat with the BG01, but let's go ahead while we've got this color out and let's add the color to her little dress, her belt, and her socks. Of course, you could make those another color. I just don't like to have a ton of colors out there for you guys. I don't want you to feel like you have to buy, 30 markers to do one little drawing. Okay, so with the BG05, we're going to go ahead and add some shadow or low lights onto her hat. I actually did this shadowing on her a couple different ways. Yeah, if you look at the sample on your idea sheet with the little blonde gnome, you'll see that I shadowed it differently. So wanted to give you guys lots of different options this month. Okay. Sorry about that. Third time's a charm, right? Okay. So I think we're set. Sorry about that. I had to start over. So in step 3, now we are using BG07 and doing the darkest of the low light. Again, you can look at the sample on your idea sheet and see that there was another way to shade this if you'd like. So then we're going to take our BG01 and blend and just make this all a really nice smooth. And with the darker colors, sometimes you might want to let it dry, and if you still have a harsh line, you can come back and go over this again. But oops, I totally forgot the BG07. Let's do a little bit here back at the back of her neck on her collar, and just a little dab on the belt, and then come back again. We're doing the BG01 and blending it all together. Okay, so that was step 3. Now let's move on to step 4, and we are using some of my favorites. We used these last month on the tulips. This is R81, and we're going to go ahead and color in the petals of the flower and her dress. So boy, there's times like these when I'm having all this technical difficulty with the video that I sure do miss in-home classes or at the store classes, in-person classes, let's put it that way. But this does give me an opportunity to reach more of you, so for that I'm very grateful and blessed. We now have members from California and Texas, Pennsylvania, Oregon, just all over, so that is so awesome. Okay, so next we want to use our R83, and we're going to do most of the petal. Just leave the R81 at the tips so that we're going to still have that highlight at the end of the petal. And then on her dress, we're going to come down to about the second button. Those long locks have created some shadows. And then come back up from the belt. And then those long locks again down here onto the skirt of her dress. And then with R85, we're going to do just one little swipe in the center of each petal, and then coming down just a little bit. And then again here. And then coming back with the R81 and blending this all together. I love, this is definitely one family color combination that I love. They blend so beautifully. It's a nice soft pink that no matter the season, it goes well with whatever you're coloring. So some of you may be wondering, how do I come up with these color combinations? Well, I generally look at the paper that I'm going to be using, and so as my background, and I take my color combinations off those, so you can see like this teal or turquoise matches up there. You've got the pinks here. So, and then I have my Copic little booklet, and I've colored all of the samples of the markers that I have. So that way I can go through my book and kind of see which ones I want to use, what colors that are going to match. See, I went right there. Are 81, 83, and 85. So that might be a nice tip for you. If you have a certain background paper that you already know you want to use that as your palette and the colors that you want to use on your subject. Okay, so now we're going on to step 5, and we're going to use YG41 and YG45 for this little band on her hat and the leaves. And then I also did her buttons, the buckle on her belt, and the lace on her socks, tying her little outfit all in, coordinating nicely. Now this color family only has 2, the YG41 and the 45. And these are all very small areas, so we really don't need a third color anyhow. So I just added a little touch of this. And then coming back with the 41, just blending it and making that original 41 a little bit darker. Adding a little bit of shadow. Okay, so next we're going to go on to her shoes. I've got E97, and we're going to do the whole shoe with this. And then with the E99, what we're going to do is we're going to just create a highlight on the toe. Everything else is going to go to the dark. And then come back with the 97 and blend it all together. But these are juicy. So when you see a lot of your markers really juicy, just want to be a little careful that you don't get too much color and it bleeds over. So we did good there. Okay, and we're just going to wrap up here with step 6. Now this one you could really use any yellows. I chose Y11, and so I did the center of the flower there and our card. And the brush end, assuming she had yellow paint that she made her card with, and of course our pencil. Add a little touch there. On the card I just did the inside, and then I came down like a shadow under her thumb, adding some more color here, and then coming back with the Y11 and blending that all in. Oops, apologize there. Forgot to turn my watch back off. And then all we have left is the brush, the fan brush. I just took C3 and finished that off. And you could come back with your Y55, your Y57 from her hair and do the brush handles to finish that off. And then remember, she does have a die. If you wanted to get that and just cut her out, you could fancy cut or fussy cut. And if you wanted to cut her out that way, I think in my watercolor sample, I did that. And you could see, yes, here's the watercolor sample. I went ahead and I just fussy cut her out. And the other sample for the Copic, I went ahead and just colored in the background and then added, this is a mushroom I popped up, if you can kind of see that. I just popped it up and added some mushrooms around her. Or if you want to do like I did on the sample for you guys, you could just add a little blue violet or blue green as the background shadow. So anyhow, I hope you guys have enjoyed this stamp and coloring her. Again, there's lots of color options that you could do, and I would love to see your samples. I'd love to see the cards that you guys are making, and I hope you're having fun. I want to hear some input, and I really hope everyone had a blessed Easter, and that we remember that all that our God did for us by bringing Jesus and having him take our sins and shed his blood to cover our sins. And I just bless each and every one of you. I pray for you guys each month, and I really hope you had a blessed time doing this card this month. Also, if you've gotten this or you've read, watched the video, please check us out on Great Lakes Scrapbook Events. I'm going to be airing again Saturday, April 10th at 4:15 at the Great Lakes Scrapbook Events. So I would love to see you guys there and give us a shout out. And so thanks again. Have a blessed weekend. Bye.